Tim Fairweather, a senior naturalist, Lorain County Metro Park, Sandy Ridge Reservation.
What do you have coming up in the 2 weeks from now, right?
Yep, 2 weekends from now we get the Super Dino Weekend. It's our second annual festival here at Sandy Ridge, featuring all things dinosaur. And right now I'm standing next to a little friend of ours, the baby triceratops. That's a new addition to our program this year. Hopefully people will bring their cameras and they can get their picture taken next to the baby triceratops. Triceratops gets its name from the 3 horns on its face. Most of the names for dinosaurs come from Greek words, and it literally means 3-horned hard face. What we have here is a collection of fossil replicas or casts. So paleontologists go out in the field and they make these discoveries. The real thing that they find go into museums and other places for study and for putting skeletons back together. But they make fossil casts, replicas, so that places like ourselves can display them and people can see what they look like and kind of pick up and feel what maybe these teeth or claws would really feel like. So I'm just going to go a couple different ones here. This is a cast of a hadrosaur egg. So the hadrosaurs are the duck-billed dinosaurs that you might be familiar with, or books or movies. So this is what their egg would have looked like, and when they found it, still mixed in with some other rock, and then artist reconstruction of the color, I suppose. But so that would have been the size of the hadrosaur's egg. And we've got a couple of teeth over here. Tyrannosaurus rex, famous dinosaur, meat-eating dinosaur. Carnivores, or the meat eaters, and a Giganotosaurus. I have a hard time pronouncing that one. But it's the same thing. It's got that serrated edge, just like your steak knives at home, for cutting the meat, so they could cut apart the other dinosaurs that they are eating. And this really does have quite an edge on it. I don't know if I'll be letting people touch this one just because it's so sharp. Let's see. This one's kind of funny. This is a coprolite, fossil poop, fossil dino dung, if you will. And just like today, in my job as a naturalist, we study scat, which is poop that's left behind by animals that live out in the woods and wetlands here at Sandy Ridge, to find out what lives here. So paleontologists are finding dung from dinosaurs, the actual fossilized dung, and they can study that, and they're actually coming up with discoveries of what's in them. So plant matter and other things they're finding in this fossilized dung. It's pretty interesting. What else we got here? I got a coin to kind of show the sizes, but we've a variety of claws from different dinosaurs right here. And this very large one, which grabs your eye right away, that's from an Allosaurus, which is another carnivore, meat-eating dinosaur. And it's escaping me which time period there. It was before Tyrannosaurus rex, so several million years before T-Rex. This would have been one of the dominant meat-eating dinosaurs. A claw to maybe help hold the prey that it's eating. And speaking of Tyrannosaurus rex, this is a Tyrannosaurus rex claw from one of its hind legs. It's not its little front claws, but it's its hind legs. So it might have been good for stepping on whatever it was about to eat, so it could tear off a big chunk. And a lot of people talk about raptors these days. This was one of the largest raptors that they know of right now. It's called a mega raptor. And it's interesting, especially with a lot of the raptors and other meat-eating dinosaurs that were using these to grab on and hold on to whatever they were eating. There's this little groove in the claws. And paleontologists have come to discover that was a good way so that their feet wouldn't get stuck, especially the raptors. They were jumping on larger dinosaurs than themselves, digging their claws in to wound it. Well, they didn't want to get stuck, like if their animal was running and get knocked off on a tree, so they would be able to pull out. The suction wouldn't hold their claws in because of that gap, that groove. So that's pretty neat stuff. Let's see. And we're talking about raptors, and this is from a velociraptor. So again, the groove. This is an herbivore, a plant-eating dinosaur. So some of them had claws too, maybe to either help defend themselves or, more importantly, help to get the plants they were eating. And it's from a Camarasaurus. So you can see the size of these things. Okay, this is one of the sauropods. Now, this is definitely not life-size. Maybe what it was not long after it was hatched. This is a Brachiosaurus, and a lot of people that watch movies will know this is a long neck, and they do have a long neck and a very long tail. It's curved around the back here. Brachiosaurus. Good way to identify that is that its nostrils are placed on top of its head. And you might remember this from, I think it was the first Jurassic Park movie. They were visiting up at a tree. One of the Brachiosaurus came and visited them, and they were up in a tree. But paleontologists aren't quite sure why it's situated. Could have been a means of communication, so they could have been blowing it like a trumpet. Maybe it was easier when they're eating leaves up in the trees to breathe out the top of their head. Not quite sure. Like many things, a lot of mysteries left with the dinosaurs. Okay, we were talking about raptors earlier, like the velociraptor having claws for catching and either wounding its prey or holding on to its prey. And a lot of paleontologists today believe that our modern birds descended from dinosaurs. And if you look at the claws on this red-tailed hawk mount here, you can see they're quite similar. They don't have that groove like we have in the velociraptor. I mentioned about that so they could let go easier. Well, these claws are more for catching and killing. The velociraptors are more for wounding and kind of bleeding out the animal instead. So a little more gruesome with the velociraptor, but quicker death with our modern raptors.